Hey, how you doing? This is Miko, and right now I'm in America at home because I don't have a Christmas tree like this at home. In Japan, that is. But yes, so right now I'm in America, just hanging out at the family's house. And yes, and oh, it's going to be the new year soon in about 3 hours. So Happy New Year. And to those on the other side of the world, it's already the new year. So Happy New Year to you too. Um, so this, well, okay. Besides the new year, there's something that I felt really strongly about happened. More like I read an article. It was in the New York Times, and it was an opinion, nothing really eventful. But this guy, his name is Nicholas D. Kristof, and he says he's trilingual. He says he speaks Chinese, he speaks Spanish, and his native tongue is English. And I think he's American. I assume he's American. Anyway, well, he starts his article off like this. A quiz. If a person who speaks 3 languages is trilingual, and one who speaks 4 languages is quadrilingual, what is someone called who speaks no foreign languages at all? Answer, an American. Ha 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 ha, yeah, okay. But, okay, I get the joke. Yet, no, I don't agree with it. And I'll tell you why. Well, because in my experience, I've met many, many people who are Japanese, of course, and also other people from different countries who don't speak any other language at all. They speak only their one language, and they're not American. And it's quite unfortunate that it's become connected, so closely connected to Americans. But if you take the Japanese case, oh gosh, they're horrible at English. Most of them are awful. They spend 12 years or more learning English. Not that they're trying to become fluent, but some of them spend so many years trying to learn English, and they're nowhere near as conversationally capable as someone else who would be learning English in another country. Take, for example, the Philippines, who are even less economically, they're less economically, what's the word? Their country is not as strong compared to Japan. But yeah, Philippines have, a lot of them have a really good English. Filipinas. But anyway, that's the main point of this article really is, recently in America, a lot of parents are sending their children to Chinese immersion schools, specifically Mandarin Chinese. Because, China is it's the big new superpower. Oh, they're going to take over the world. Oh, my child needs to learn to speak Chinese. And he's saying, well, what about our neighbors, downstairs? Neighbors, not downstairs, but, down south of us, the Mexicans and the Latinos and Latinas that are, the Spanish speakers, that occupy a lot of the, a lot of the world, actually. Many countries speak Spanish, not just Mexico. It's everywhere. Well, in the southern area, South America and Mexico, anywhere below from Mexico is Spanish or Portuguese. Brazil's special, and of course there's Spain, but there's a lot of immigrants from those countries that come to America, and so he's saying, well, don't learn Mandarin first, learn Spanish, and then Mandarin, because Mandarin, you won't probably ever use it, and also it's just, in Japanese you could say mendokusai. It's a bother to learn it, because there's so many characters, and each sound has a different tonal range to it, and it's so complicated. And no, this guy is totally missing the point. I guess American people in general are missing the point of what it means to learn a language. In my case, I chose Japanese. I could have chosen anything else, but I think my experience would have been just the same. It's not about practicality. It's not about what it will get you in your job in your future. The rewards of learning a language is so much more. It's so much more than being able to get that job or ensuring your child's future. This guy who says he speaks 3 languages, he should know better than that. Being trilingual, he should know that it's just worth so much more than just, being something of a convenience. And sure, it is a convenience, but that's such a shallow outlook. It's so much more than that. And I made a comment. I actually sent a letter to the editor about it. This is how strongly I felt about it. But I'll tell you some of this comment. Of course, read the article first. But here, I'll tell you what I said. I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of long, but so he says one of his comments was, there are thousands of characters to memorize as well, the landmines of any tonal language. So I said, why should that make it someone avoid, learning Mandarin Chinese or any Chinese version? Japanese has even more complicated characters, maybe less than Chinese, but they're even more complicated. And, it just makes it even more interesting, and it opens your mind to any further languages that are related to Chinese, such as Vietnamese or Thai. And if you are ever going to become familiar with those other languages that are related, it'll make you more familiar with it, and you'll understand it like this much more quickly than, if I were to take Korean, I would know Korean like so much quicker than if I was just diving into it without knowing Japanese, because I know Japanese. The grammar is so similar. So anyway, and then, it's just learning shouldn't be for its practical use. It's should be for the appeal of the individual learning it. No matter what language a person takes on, the rewards are just as great for anyone who achieves a conversational level, especially if they decide to travel to that language's home. Suddenly, your world is so much larger than as those who speak it, as you meet those who speak it, and the people you'll meet won't be just those with native tongues, but, you'll be meeting everyone from around the world. And that's so much better than looking at it from its practical use. You'll meet, some people everywhere around the world who are learning the same language as you are. They'll be there. You'll find them. They'll find you. And so since I began to learn Japanese about 5 years ago, I've met people, honestly, from as many as 20 different countries, who all have the same interests as I, the same language, the same culture. And I didn't learn just about Japan by learning Japanese and going there. I learned about Denmark and Finland, England, Korea, Singapore, China, France, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Brazil, Canada, and more and more and more. And, and now that I'm conversationally capable, because I stayed in Japan and I made Japanese friends, and I've opened my mind. It's so much larger now that I have all of these people that I know from around the world. And this political correctness that Americans hold on to, like this, that makes them so scared to say things that they want, it's so apprehensive. I've lost that apprehensiveness, and I've become much more understanding than I was before, like 6 years ago. And before, I heard a comment in the airport in America, and while I was waiting for the connecting flight, this man was talking about the Karate Kid, and he said things like, "Oh, they chose Jaden Smith because he's black because of this PC crap, and it's in China because it'll be the next big power." And I shiver when I hear things like this. I hear these ignorant racial connections that Americans just toss out everywhere. I just can't identify it with it anymore. And I might have agreed with this 6 years ago before I started my studies. Before before I left my comfort zone and went out to Japan, I might have agreed with this, but it's different now. And this is what I get for learning a language. And it's not Spanish, and it's not Mandarin, and it may not be practical to living in America, which I probably eventually will in my future. And I will be back, but this person who's writing this article is totally missing the point. And again, when I feel I've achieved near fluency, which I'm far from, believe me, I'll take on the next language that interests me. And right now I think it's Spanish, but it has nothing to do with it being practical. I'm choosing it because the intonation and the pronunciation is similar to Japanese, and also the grammar is similar to English. It has nothing to do with what I could do with it in America. And if I chose something more exotic like Swahili, then or even Mandarin, well, if I chose something like that, then the awards would be just the same as learning Spanish. So, if this is not about practicality, learning a language should be nothing about being able to use it close to home. Well, that is something that is very, something very attractive. It's not what it should be about. If your child wants to learn Mandarin, then let him. If he wants to learn French or German or Spanish, then let him. Even Portuguese, whatever language he chooses, you should let him do it. Let him go for it. And if he works hard enough at whatever language he chooses, and if he becomes conversationally capable, and if you send him to that country of the language he's learning, the rewards that he will get will be just as great as any other language. Spanish, Mandarin, be it. And that's what I have to say about this guy from an American. Thank you.